Welcome back to another episode of Defend Philly. I'm Vani Hanamirian, and we're with Lewis Cocco, and we're getting ready. We're about an hour away from the first Flyers postseason game since 2020. Lewis, how you feeling?
I'm freaking out. I was at work. I was at work all morning this morning, and I was like, just get me to 8 o'clock. 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 I I I can't function properly as a human being. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to function properly as a human being for the next week or so. Honestly, for as long as this playoff run goes, I don't think I'm functioning as a
No.
human. I need to channel my inner Eric Lindros. I got the Flyers captain
Nice.
shirt on. I uh I need the Penguins to die a horrible, horrible death,
Horrible.
and I want them to be bludgeoned like nobody's business. I don't like them. I just don't like them. I don't like anything about them. I've had Penguins fans trying to rage bait me in comment sections all week on the podcast comment sections. I've been doing the Lord's work going into actually a few times I went on to 93.7 The Fan. That's the radio station out in Pittsburgh. They were posting videos. I've been going on in the comment sections with the podcast.
You've been rage baiting them because this is
I've been doing my
this is a
best.
big deal. Like you
It's a
grew up a
huge
Flyers fan,
deal.
especially the time that we grew up. And like this, a playoff game is a big deal anyway. But I mean, I was raised. It was Penn suck, Dallas sucks in
Yeah.
that order. I
Yes.
was raised on the Penn suck, and that was my number one thing. I mean, I have a jersey that says Penn suck. For
Yes. A
goodness sake, that was
legendary jersey.
legendary. But that was what we were told growing up, and that's what I've always known. And so the fact that this is the first postseason and they're facing one another, it's going to be a battle of Pennsylvania. It's going to be a good game, and you just know it's going to be good. It's going to be
Uh
good.
the rival so in Philadelphia sports, and this has been a topic the past year, 2 years, whatever, it feels like the rivalry between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's dead. The rivalry's dead. The Cowboys have been so irrelevant for so long." The Eagles have just owned the Cowboys for the past 20 years, and it's not even worth having this kind of discussion anymore because yeah, the Cowboys suck, but no one hates them as much as they used
They
to.
used to, yeah.
I was wondering about the Flyers Penguins rivalry going into this year. I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't remember which game it was. It was I don't in the season series, within the 4 games that the Flyers and the Penguins played each other this year. It was at home. It was a Flyers game. It was a Penguins Flyers game in Philadelphia. I don't remember which game, but it was the game when Crosby and Zegras got tossed before going to
Hmm.
overtime.
Hmm.
It was
Yep, I was
the
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were in the press box.
Hmm.
They got call penalties in overtime, goals called back, Flyers win it in a shootout. That game right there reminded me how much I hate the Penguins. And guess what? This playoff run and all of this stuff happening, Rick Tocchet talking about he wants his players to feel the hate between the Penguins and the Flyers. It got me so fired up. I
Rick Tocchet, who played for
inside of
both
me,
teams.
right, and won 3 cups with the Penguins.
Yeah.
And he said, "Guess what? I'm an orange and black guy." He said, "That's how I have to think." That got me so fired up.
So
I I don't want to crush a team any more than I want the
so
Flyers to rip the Penguins apart this series.
and you want to know
This
what got me
series.
fired up was a graphic. I think the NHL posted a graphic, and it was like, here's what you need to know about the postseason. Teams that are in it, teams that are exciting to watch, teams that are just here, teams that were shocked even made it and we're not sure how they're here. Penguins, Kings. Or sorry, Flyers, Kings. You don't put the Flyers in that last section and expect them to not do anything. This team is going to come out strong. They're hot. This team, their defense is, if the offense can hold up, the defense can hold Sidney Crosby. And as long as Sidney Crosby is a Penguin, I will forever hate the Penguins. And I like Sidney Crosby off the ice. He's a fine person off the ice, right? He's done a lot for the community. You really can't, you can hate him, but you can't hate him. He's not like Ovechkin, who you can just hate, but you can't also hate him. But like he's not one of those players. But as long as Sidney Crosby is a Penguin, that rivalry will forever be there. And I will forever hate that team.
I don't care. I don't care what not you specifically, but what anyone thought about the Flyers before this playoff series. I don't care. Because guess what? The Stanley Cup playoffs are different. It's just a different story. I have people in the comment section, well, the Penguins won 2 of those games, and the 2 games the Penguins won were in regulation. The Flyers won in overtime, and there was no overtime, and there was no shootout, blah, blah, and I don't care, damn it!
Every game, the one game that the Flyers won, Sidney Crosby wasn't playing. I don't care. It's the playoffs.
It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. Everything changes, and guess what? The number one factor for the Flyers is their goaltending. And I know we've been talking about it, and I know it feels like, that's such a cop-out answer because everyone's talking about it. No, it is the damn truth. And I wish I had the stat. I'm just too fired up. Let me pull up Stuart Skinner's stats. He sucks. He sucks.
We will talk about goaltending as long as we have good goaltending. We went through one too many years of bad goaltending, one too many years of struggling to not be able to talk about it every single episode. No. And Dan Vladar has been incredible. He really has. He has been the difference maker on this team. There are several players that you can point to. There are several moments, there are several trades that the Flyers made leading up to this. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Dan Vladar. It truly does.
Without a doubt.
You still looking up stats?
Taking forever to load. But he was the MVP of the Flyers' entire season. And guess what? He's a better goalie than Stuart Skinner. I don't care what you say about I get it. Playoff experience makes sense. And Stuart Skinner played 50 playoff games and all this stuff. Wayne Gretzky earlier this week said Dan Vladar should be in the running for the Vezina. Wayne Gretzky just doesn't say things like that.
No.
Stuart Skinner.
At the end of the season stats, and Dan Vladar is the 3rd highest ranked goalie in the league.
Stuart Skinner's not even in the top 10 goalies this year.
No.
Not even close.
No. This team has it, and it's kind of all about putting it together, and it comes down to tonight, because they're fired up. We're fired up. And the city is fired up, and all eyes are on the Flyers.
Stuart Skinner has a 3 goals against and an .885 save percentage with the Pittsburgh Penguins this year. He got worse when he was traded to Pittsburgh. He sucked in Edmonton, and he got worse when they traded him to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's not good. I don't care what you say about playoff appearances. He's never won a cup. And guess what? They should have won a couple cups. With McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard and the team they have over there in Edmonton and Nugent Hopkins and all those guys, they should have won a couple cups.
But guess what? This Penguins defense is not their strong suit, right?
No, they're not. It's not. I mean, Erik Karlsson's great. But
they have a great offense. Their defense is not strong. Our offense needs to show up. Our defense, they can do it. It's about our offense showing up and getting on the board. And this, I
have another stat.
I truly believe that this Flyers team can do it. And I am excited to see it. You have another stat?
I am so amped. I have another stat. I'm so amped up. It's outrageous. I want to freaking scream. I am screaming. Hold on. This is out. Since March 17th of 2026, this season. So that's post-Olympic break. I think that's correct. Yeah, I believe it's since the Olympic break. Whatever the case is, this is the stat. Since March 17th of 2026, The Flyers have averaged, and this is from The Athletic. This was in Kevin Kerr's article from a couple days ago.
Okay.
The Flyers have averaged 3.56 goals per game, which is 5th in the NHL. I don't know where the Penguins ranked on that
Not fifth.
list, but not 5th. Unless they're above 5th. I don't care. But here's the thing. The Flyers at 5-on-5 have been really great this year.
Yeah.
And they're, well, great since the Olympic break. They made some shifting. They made some changing with their systems. Rick Tocchet changed some things. And, there were stretches of the season where it wasn't great. But what matters most is the last 15 games for the Flyers. Because those were essentially playoff games. Yeah. They went from a 3.8% chance to make the playoffs to being in. 3.8% chance.
3.8.
They're wearing shirts
that say 3.8.
Bernie Perrant's mask, and on the sleeve it says 3.8 as a reminder for what happened. They're playing with house money. No one expected them to be here. But here's the thing. They always believed. And look, even at points I didn't believe. But the room believed.
When we didn't believe.
They believed when we didn't believe. Danny Briere, because Dan Vladar, after they clinched, Dan Vladar revealed to the public, he said,
which I'm still mad about.
I know you are. I was going to say, we talked about this before. He said the goal was to always make the playoffs.
The playoffs.
We always believed. We always believed.
Always.
And guess what? Up. 3.56 goals per game. That's a step up from where it was.
Yeah.
So if the Flyers at 5-on-5, because if they're down a man, their power play has been hard, or if they have a man advantage, their power play has been horrible, which is crazy. And their penalty kill has been horrible.
Horrible.
But if they can stay disciplined and stay out of the box, and look, the referees in the NHL playoffs, they swallow the whistle. They let the fellas play. That's what happens. It's the cup. We saw, you see some brutal hockey in the Stanley Cup playoffs already. Now, Brady Tkachuk and I don't even know who it was.
Yeah.
And Jordan Stahl dropped the mitts at center ice 3 seconds into the game. Now they got penalized for that. The refs aren't just going to let you fight and not get penalized.
No, but
generally there's some rough stuff in the playoffs that gets penalized. That goes unpenalized. They want them guys to play. It's a completely different game.
Yes.
The Flyers changed things since the Olympic break. That stat right there, I think that tells you what you need to know.
That tells you what you need to know.
At 5-on-5, the Flyers found themselves. They're scoring more goals than they have been.
Yes.
Martone's on. Zegras is on. Michkov, since the Olympic break, is nearly a point per game player. He might be a point per game. He's
trailing what, like 10 points from last season? He's in 12. Yeah.
Yeah, he's found himself in the second half of the season. Going into this postseason, he's going to be on.
Yep.
Your goalie's been on all season. A goalie can steal you a series.
Yep.
Not just a game, a series. And Dan Vladar is unflappable.
Yes.
He's unflappable. There were quotes I read, again, in the Kevin Kerr's article. He said, I'm ready. I mean, this is just, this is no different for me. I'm ready to go. That right there, the young, hungry team, Rick Tocchet, having his team fired up. They clearly have something that this is like when, I think it was Michael Jordan. He used to read headlines and things before games because he would to fire himself up. The Flyers wearing
have it on their arm. They're ready.
To have 3.8% on their arm.
They're ready.
They're ready to go.
They're ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Flyers in 7.
Okay.
Flyers in 7.
Okay.
Do you have a prediction? You don't have to have a prediction. I don't
have
came
a
out of my
prediction
mouth.
Yet. Nope,
came out of my mouth. Came out of my mouth.
Fine. That's fine.
Flyers in 7.
There you go. There you go. I'm ready to see it.
This wasn't even analysis. I've just been screaming into my microphone.
Yeah.
I'm too amped. I'm too amped up.
You should be.
I post game.
You're fired up.
Yeah. Post game, I might go live.
Do it.
We'll have to see.
Yes. I've had a busy, hectic day, so I will not be live. But
yeah,
always has all of it covered.
I spent 20 hours at work over the past 20 hours.
I'm in
So
college.
yeah, so I'm just like
You're
I'm
fired up,
way too I'm
clearly.
too amped. I'm way too
I
amped.
don't think there's such thing as too amped.
I You're right. The Flyers and the Penguins. This is great for hockey. The rivalry coming back. This is great for the city of Philadelphia, and I don't care about Pittsburgh. Pens suck.
Pens suck.
Crosby, I
Sucks.
respect him as a player, but I hate him so much. I can't
I
stand him. I can't stand him. And this series is going to be this is going to be a vintage. This is going to be a vintage hockey. Not even vintage like Penguins Flyers. This is going to be a vintage hockey series. Just a total bloodbath. I I think there's, and I know we got to get out of here. There's a couple things I think fans need to look out for.
Okay,
And
let's
I,
talk.
and I, I made a video about it before. Goaltending matchup, which we already touched on. Dan Vladar clears Stuart Skinner. I don't care about the playoff,
No,
experience.
you look at the
It's
stats this season.
and
You look
who's
at the
hot
stats
right
this
now,
season, and it's Dan Vladar.
and and it
100%. You would
and
take Dan
it's
Vladar over Stuart Skinner any day this season. Any day.
and it's who's hot right now. That last season doesn't matter because this is frankly a different team than last season.
Also, you can't put postseason into perspective when we haven't even seen a full season of Vladar until this year.
Right.
So
Exactly.
there's no comparison with that. You need to see it first before you say anything. He has no
Exactly.
his whatever. Go ahead. Keep going. Point number two.
So point number two is there could be some fatigue. There could be some fatigue from the Flyers. It's they haven't had to do this. They haven't had a postseason in 6 years and in front of fans in 8 years. So, I believe that this team is ready to go. I believe that they're ready to play for Tocchet. I believe that they've been working hard in practice. We've been hearing it from writers. We've been hearing it from the coaches. We've been hearing it from the players. They're ready to go.
Yep.
So there could be some fatigue, but the thing is having guys like Martone, having guys like Barkey, having guys like Bump, who's not play. I don't believe he's on the taxi squad right now, so he's
Okay.
in the press box. Having guys like that who join the team a little later,
Mm-hmm.
fresher legs, that could help balance out. Because look, this team I believe is going to be relying on guys like Martone in this
They're
series.
relying on the younger guys. They've shown that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're not betting this series on Couturier and Konechny, and we know
No.
that.
No. I think, and that's point number three. Their leadership. Point number three is the leadership from Konechny, Sanheim, and Coots, obviously your captain. Those three are the only three Flyers left on the roster who played against the Pittsburgh Penguins the last time that the Flyers and the Penguins met in the postseason, which was 2018. So those three guys are going to be your North Star, essentially. The younger guys who haven't played as many big games. Now, I'm not saying really anybody. I think again, another stat from, I believe this was Kevin Kerr's article as well. The combined playoff experience for this Flyers team, TK has 22 games, Dvorak 14 games, Tippett 6 games, Sealer 5 games, and I don't know about Coots. I don't remember how many playoff games he's been a part of, but the Penguins have double the amount of experience in terms of the playoffs. So the young guys are
Stanley Cup playoffs.
I know. But you're right. It's different. It's different. The
It's
Stanley
different.
Cup playoffs
You've
changes
never
things.
seen half of these players in a game like this.
Yeah, it's true. So
We saw the way that even looking at the defenseman, we saw the way that Risto performed during the Olympics. He stepped up to the plate. And so his draft his draft value was the highest at that point. So heading into this, that's what the whole thing was. Everyone was saying that Risto should be traded then because he would be a good asset because he can show up in big games. Well, guess what? Here's a big game. He wasn't traded. Let's see what he can do. That's who I'm looking out for tonight.
I was gonna say this is his playoff debut. He
Yeah.
has never played in a playoff game. He's been in the league for 14 years
Well,
or
because
something.
people were questioning how he was going to perform on the largest stage, the Olympics. And now you bring it back, and I'm excited. I expect a lot from him, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
up. He's played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is his 13th year in the league. He's never been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is his first time going to the playoffs in 13 years because he spent all
Yep.
that time in Buffalo. And Buffalo made the postseason for the first time in 14 years this year.
Mhm.
So, look,
It's gonna be good.
it's gonna be really good. I think my final read on the whole situation is it's not, I guess, a new take. It's coming down to goaltending. As long as the Flyers can keep it 5-on-5, they can stay out of the box, stay disciplined, and get in their heads early. Just score first, early and often. I think they have a chance at this series.
I think they have a chance. I think
Flyers
they
in
have a
7.
pretty good chance. I think it's, yeah, I'm excited. I think they can do it. I think they need to definitely watch out. Shut down Crosby per usual. Comes down to goaltending, like you said. And the biggest thing, I mean, especially Mishkov, staying out of the box. Leads the team. Gotta stay out. You gotta play tough and you gotta want it. And I think this team wants it. If I've seen anything I've seen want from them, and I've seen belief, and they can do it. And they accomplished this. Who's to say they stop here?
Absolutely right.
I'm excited to see it. I'm fired up. Are you fired up?
I'm really fired up. I'm really fired up.
Okay. Well, per usual, stay tuned for Instagram Live after the game. Lewis will be live
I
on the
yeah, I'm
defensively.
gonna try and I'm looking into something. I might throw some money at StreamYard,
Oh,
and then maybe we'll go live on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see.
oh. Okay, we'll see.
We'll see.
As always,
Can't
thanks for
promise.
watching, and let's go Flyers.